It feels great. Honestly, until you go through adversity, until you go through hardship, I don't want to say you take it for granted, but maybe you just get a little comfortable. You get comfortable being the favorite, being the top dog, not being challenged, being the golden girl. And so to be humbled last year and to be back to the bottom of the totem pole was really, really good for me. And it does make the win that much sweeter.
And I know you called out Cyborg. We noticed.
Is that who it was?
We noticed that she wasn't in the crowd. It seems like she might have been the only Bellator champion so far that isn't here. Do you think that
I know who was there. My boy Johnny Eblin. Okay. I don't know. I can't play these games. I'm a mom. I'm tired. I don't care. I hope she fights me, but if she doesn't, it's her loss, because it's the fans' loss, really, because I think it would be an amazing fight. I respect her. I think that she goes out there and she implements her game plan, and she's tenacious, and she's a killer, and she goes out after her opponents. And she's one of the best to ever do it. So I have nothing but respect for her, and I want to get in the cage and try and beat the shit out of her. Like, that's it. I think it would be a great fight. But I can't control that.
And last one for me. How long would you wait for a fight like that? We see Michael Chandler waiting for Conor McGregor. It seems like forever.
No.
Would you wait, or would you just keep going until that happens?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to wait. I'm 33. I said I got into this sport to be the best and to climb as high as I can climb. I feel like I'm hitting my stride now. I'm hitting my peak. I'm in a great place, but I'm not going to do this forever. I think I have been doing 2-a-days since I was 12 years old, so my body is not going to be like in great shape at 40. But I do love it. I do get immense joy out of it, but I'm not going to wait for anybody. I just waited a year, and it almost drove me insane. So I'm not waiting for anybody.
And let's talk about that year, Kayla, the ring rust aspect. You waited for a year, coming into the cage now. What was different coming into the cage now compared to just being active all the time?
Yeah, it's just the nerves, man. Like, no matter how hard you spar, no matter how often you spar, there's nothing that emulates stepping inside of a cage with the fans going crazy, locking the door, and some girl like punch you in the face with 4-ounce gloves. Like, that's not, you can't emulate that. So the nerves, the adrenaline rush, the adrenaline dump, sometimes you just got to learn to control that and use it to your advantage. And it had been a long time since I'd been in a cage like that, so I was nervous.
How active would you want to be moving forward? You just got your first fight here. What's the next step?
I'm not opposed to fighting quite a bit. I like staying active. In judo, I think that's what helped me get a lot of experience and grow exponentially in MMA, is that I was so active. I don't want to be active as in, like, you have a camp and then a week off and then another camp and then a week off and then another camp. But fighting 4 times a year, if it's a full 12 months, I think that's a great pace for me. I don't like to sit around and be bored. I like to have goals. And like I said, I'm not going to do this forever. So, now's the time.
Perfect. Thank you.
Kayla, can you talk to us a little bit about, you make kind of the theme of this fight camp, gratitude, right? Fighting during.
I didn't make it the theme. God did.
Right.
But.
And I got to ask you, how important is it for you to have that gratitude, especially in this time of your career, long break back to the cage, and what was kind of the evolution of that?
I mean, I think being humbled, losing. I think growing in my faith, growing spiritually, kind of opened my eyes and made me realize that, yes, I love what I do. Yes, I get immense joy from punching people in the face. Yes, I love to be the center of attention and a star, and these are the things that I've always yearned for, but it isn't everything. In fact, it's really kind of silly when I step back and I look at the big picture, when I look at my life from, 0 to now, or even in the last year. Like, my kids, how I treat people, who I am, not just inside of a cage, but in my life, how I carry myself. Do I act with kindness? Do I act with love? Do I spread joy? Do I share my light? Or do I try and knock people down to make myself feel bigger? And I feel like I'm finally old enough and mature enough to realize that it's not all about me, and it never will be, and it was never supposed to be. And that I really do wake up every day. The kids and I, every day on our way to school, in the car, I'll go, okay, what are we grateful for? What are the 3 things we're grateful for today? And we all name 3 things we're grateful for. And then I say, okay, why do you love you? And we name 3 things we love about ourselves. And I didn't do that as a child. I didn't learn gratitude, and I didn't learn how to love myself except for externally. I loved myself because I won gold medals, and I won gold belts, and I won millions of dollars, and I felt like I had to earn love. And now that I have 2 children who love me no matter what, and I've grown in my faith and realized that I am a precious creation, a precious child of God with inherent worth and value, hell yeah, I'm grateful. How dare I not be grateful?
Thank you.
Kayla, it's no secret that Olympic athletes don't make a lot of money.
That's true.
Do you see the path to MMA for other judokas and high-level fighters across the world?
Absolutely. I mean, listen, I could name like 7 female Cuban judoka on the Cuban Olympic team who would like absolutely mop the floor with half of the female fighters right now. Like, they're just cut from a different cloth. But for sure, I think that this is a great avenue for, that's why I got into it, because I didn't make any money, because I was done with judo. I was burnt out. I had accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish twice. But I still had something left in the tank, and I got punched in the face for the first time, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is really cool. So yeah, for sure, I see hopefully a big wave and surge of female fighters from the Olympic circuit in the future. That'd be great.
And one more, are there any other opportunities outside of the ring financially that you're working on? Any entrepreneurial?
Financial opportunities? And if you count my, maybe selling my chicken eggs.
As an entrepreneur.
No, honestly, my big passion first is obviously my children, being the best mom I can be, and my foundation, which is the Fearless Foundation. Oh boy, let's go, Maga. Oh!
Wow.
He's out. ATT. The Fearless Foundation, yes, which is for survivors of child sexual abuse. I was a victim of child sexual abuse when I was growing up from my first judo coach. I wrote a book. It's called Fighting Back. You can buy it on Amazon. And it's not a textbook and it's not a memoir. It's sort of a combination of the two. So it uses my actual journal entries, my diary entries from when I was a kid. And it talks to parents, teachers, social workers, police officers, like, okay, this is what grooming looks like. This is why kids don't say something. This is how you ask your kids if something's going on. This is what the court process can look like. This is what PTSD is. And also, I did win 2 Olympic gold medals, so it gives kids sort of a light at the end of the tunnel, a shiny gold medal at the end of the tunnel, and lets them know that they're not alone. They'll never be alone as long as I'm breathing air. And yeah, that's kind of like my third child. I feel like everything happens for a reason. I was given this story for a reason. I was given this platform for a reason. And to waste it on talking about how great I am is a shame. So I'm going to talk about what I want to change in the world, which is that.
Thank you.
Kayla, you've had such a big legacy outside of the cage, and you've inspired a lot of people. What do you have to say to people that are rising stars, that have gold medals, that are doing great things, but going through something like what's your advice to the people that are in your shoes from a couple years ago?
That is a great question. You know, honestly, the best thing I've learned to do is I take time every day, and this sounds so silly. Like, I know how silly it sounds, but to me, discipline is the highest form of self-love. And I've always been super disciplined in my career, but in my personal life, I just didn't take care of myself. So every day I have 4 things that if I do these 4 things, mentally I'm in a better state, physically, emotionally, spiritually, I feel better. And the first thing is I get up every morning and I pray and I meditate. I spend time outside. And the last thing I do is journal. So when I do those 4 things and I have the courage to be vulnerable and be my true self with safe people, when I trust people who are trustworthy, like those 5 things make my life much better. So you have to find a tribe. You have to find people who will believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. And you have to find the things that are going to bring you peace and bring you joy. And do them every day, whether it's 5 minutes, 10 minutes, like it doesn't matter how long, but take time to take care of yourself and learn how to love yourself no matter what. And that means, like, if I lost tonight, would I still be able to love myself? Or am I a piece of shit because I lost? No, that doesn't define me. Inside the cage doesn't define me. Who I am cannot be defined by what I do. I am valuable no matter what. And so are all of us. We're all valuable. We're all precious creations. We're all lovable. But we have to love ourselves first.
Thank you. Hey, Kayla.
Mm-hmm.
Also journal. How good does it feel to be alive right now?
So good.
We've all heard about the possibility of you fighting Chris Cyborg, but it feels like Bellator is going to be bringing over a couple other big names, great female fighters, Katz and Gano, to name a few. Of course, Larissa Pacheco is still around. Does it feel like you have more opportunities and more potential super fights on your hands than ever before?
Yeah. I mean, I think that that's one of the hard things about being a bigger girl in MMA is a lot of the best talent is signed to different promotions. So having a lot of big girls and great fighters under one roof is, that's amazing. I'm excited for it.
You mentioned that it's not all about you. Every ATT fighter I speak to talks about how great of a teammate you are. How important is it for you to not only lead by example by putting forth these dominant performances, but to also be there for your teammates when they need you and support them through the trials, tribulations, and their fighting journey?
That is like probably one of the best things about being a teammate is being able to be there, not in just the good times, but in the hard times too. I obviously, whenever someone wins, I reach out, I say congrats, but I make sure that I always reach out if someone loses, one of my teammates, because they need to know they're supported. They need to know that we're there for them and we've got their back 100%. And I love being a part of American Top Team. It is my honor to fight for them and to compete under their banner with the coaches I have, the teammates I have, the leadership with Richie and Dan and Primo and all of the guys behind the scenes, all of my teammates who have sacrificed to help me get to where I am. For me, it's an honor to do the same for them. And I wish there were like 10 of me so I could do it more,
Thank you.
Last question.
Make it count.
You don't need money these days. We've heard you talk about that, and you've accomplished quite a lot in MMA. What do you think is going to help you stay motivated from here on out going forward?
I just love it. I love what I do. I'm super blessed to wake up every day and I get to go to American Top Team and talk shit to Johnny Eblin and, tell him that he can't stop my takedowns and make fun of Dan and Richie for how old they're getting and, getting a couple fist fights and try and get better at it. And then I get to go pick up my kids from school and we come home and we chase emus around the yard and try and find rabbits that have escaped, and it's just chaos 24/7, but it's a beautiful chaos, and I couldn't be happier with my life. I couldn't be in a better place. So I don't have to stay motivated because it's in me, that dog that drive. Like, I worried about that when I got all, like, when I became all, like, kumbaya and zen. I was like, what if I'm not a killer anymore? And I was talking to my friend Kayla Rocco, actually, who fights next week for Combate. I was like, what if I'm not a killer? And she was like, Kayla, have you seen you at the gym? And I was like, no, I haven't seen me. She's like, well, you come in, you talk shit, you, like, joke around, and then we put on the gloves, and you look like a serial killer. Like, you've still got it. And I was like, oh, okay, I've still got it. And that's it. I've still got it. It's not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Let's go watch some lives change.